Artuk, Ode, Morak, what are you guys doing?
What
So
was it you wanted to say
Morak
up? Code?
will be like recently gone to the restroom, cleaned up a little bit, and is in his loungewear, relaxing in the common room of our sweet ass hotel room, writing a letter, and he has the mind flare, the elder brain bone chunk that he broke off when you're on there. He also has his jeweler's tools out, and he's actively engraving in the bone.
Are you writing a letter or are you engraving?
Well, he has paper out, and he's kind of doing. He can't decide. He's antsy. He's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm in a room with a table, and nothing's actively sticky and gross or trying to kill me. I'm using this to my advantage."
In fact, Morak, Morak, Ode, and Artuk. I want you guys to roll just a d20. Morak, you have advantage.
Well, shit. Well, 17.
Me too.
I'm working on it.
Mary, do you want me to just roll on?
No.
Okay.
I wanted to be
I'm
a
lucky
17,
you
Mary. Oh.
Ah, dang it. Even in spite of that, you guys have finally found just a good, nice room. It has been months. It has been so many months since you have had a comfortable place to stay. And especially with the fake out with the Golden Sturgeon just earlier this week, and that being a nightmare, this is such a relief after just all of this. So, because of that, the three of you have 1d6 of bardic inspiration for the rest of the day, because you are finally relieved enough that and like able to just take a minute.
This place is stealing my shit.
You can use that with Byron's as well if that comes up.
I actually kind of ended off earlier by saying that you guys said, "Oh, what now?" and Ode like tried to start a conversation with you. So I like to think that Ode started this conversation, and Morak was kind of like nodding along like as he walked to the bathroom and like started washing his face.
Oh yeah.
Ka-chunk, 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 ka-chunk.
Yeah.
Ode, ka-chunk, ka-chunk.
So I'm gonna pretend that this conversation happened as Morak's like taking off his armor in the bathroom and like washing his face and freshening up.
Yo, what are you saying, Ode?
Right. Well, I guess I'll speak a little louder than I would normally, but this place seems nice enough that the noise won't bother anyone. But I actually thought that you two might be able to offer your opinion on and Ode kind of stops and thinks for a second. She's like, "Do you think we can talk openly in this room?"
I mean, yeah, why not, right? I figure that's probably not a problem.
Okay. I'll talk semi openly. And then she'll think about it for a second and say, "So we all know why we're coming to this to Harry Magi, and it doesn't really have a ton to do with me or my job with the eye. But as we all know, the Harry Magi, the Weave Scarred, have taken over the libraries, the former Cerulean Eye libraries here, and we met Melody on the road, who was trying to get a tome back from the former Cerulean Eye libraries, and I've never really felt like it was my job to go investigate that or try to free anything from that, but I don't know. I feel like since we're here and we met Melody, maybe I'm getting like a sign that that's something I should look into. But I know that that's not part of my job, and I don't want to put us in danger. So I thought I might ask like what your guys' thoughts are on that.
You see Morak finally exit the bathroom looking awesome in his Gucci lounging clothes.
Oh no, that was not 10 minutes for you to take off your armor.
Oh yeah. Well, he's okay. Well, he's still in the bathroom. What's your boyfriend got to say about it?
You can talk to the bathroom.
Morak, you
No,
can stop with that now. I mean, I figure, I don't know, put it this way, right? If that's something you feel real strongly about, like it's real important to you, I'm more than happy to go help you out to do it. That's, the way this sort of works with all of us. If somebody's got something that means a lot to them, the rest of us are here to help doing it,
Right.
So, especially if you can find a way to do it that doesn't, I'd say the thing to consider with this is whether any danger it could cause could put Zeka and his whole endeavor to try to save a friend at risk. Because at the end of the day, I don't know how priorities are to you, but I figure that somebody's life, especially somebody that a friend of mine cares about, is probably worth a little more than some, books that are locked up. Mine that I'm probably the last person to be able to appreciate fine reading. But if you think that there's a way that we can do it that doesn't put, the whole saving the whole Zeka thing at jeopardy, then I'd say it's more than worth going to do if it means something to you. But if not,
Well, yeah, I guess I kind of have to decide how much it means to me, right? Because like I also support the mission of preserving and protecting culture and history. It's very important to me, but like obviously there's a lot of culture and history in those libraries. But say we went in and we risked our lives so that I could grab a couple books, then well, what about all the other books in the library? I wouldn't even know which ones to grab, which one's the most cultural or the most historic. So I think maybe if the opportunity presents itself for us to specifically protect culture or history, that would be important to me. But in terms of trying to infiltrate the library as an alternate mission, that just it doesn't seem to follow what the cerulean eye is about. Because if that was our main goal, we would have tried to do it by now, not just sent me on my way kind of in Akelia and maybe hoped that I would end up in Haria Magi by myself eventually. So does that make sense?
Morak walks out of the bathroom with a toothbrush in his mouth. He's like, "Well, are there any books still there? Do we know? Like, I kind of agree. Like, wouldn't like you guys are kind of badasses half the time. A lot of the ones I've met, like, I wouldn't. Like, the Weaves got us scary, but like honestly, like I feel like the whole Shadow Monastery could kick their asses."
Well, I don't know about that as much as if this Ruli and I had decided, yes, the most important thing we could do was to recover this library, we would have been trying to focus on that. Rather than what they do with us usually is just send us out as monks looking for opportunities to protect culture and history on a more individual level. So in this case, single-handedly rescuing a whole library, however cool it would be, isn't really on the purview of protecting culture and history on an individual level. I guess it's kind of complicated because yeah, obviously I'd want to do it. I just I don't think it'd be feasible. And even if we tried to go in, rescuing one book doesn't really make much sense.
Well, I mean, is there like a really good book in there?
Well, here's the thing, David. Is there a really good book in there?
I mean,
that we know is there.
I mean, no. That the problem is you guys haven't been inside in a while, so you don't know whether they've kept it preserved or whether they just went, well, there's a bunch of magic books, fuck them, and just burn. Like it's hard to tell. There's a lot of potential in there, but nothing confirmed at all.
Can I roll an insight check on the Weaves Guard as a whole of if they are book burners?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sheet. I haven't done that yet.
Oh yeah, your great insight.
Oh, why don't you do it then, Mary?
Oof.
2. I'm just gonna. I don't even need David there. Morak doesn't say anything. He just contemplates, would
Would
the
they?
game scarred seem like the people that burn books?
They'd
just
certainly
gonna
choke
say
out a
that's what-
child, but would they burn a book?
Yeah, they're totally down for killing people. Book burning.
Well, anyway, it's kind of complicated because I want to stay true to my values, but I think in this case,
You also have the value of not killing yourself.
yeah, I've got the value of not killing myself. I've got the value of us getting in and getting out. So, well, that's not a value, but
Sure. I also think that, just something worth maybe thinking about was this whole time that you're trying to, either sell yourself or not sell yourself on the idea, you've been sort of trying to figure out whether or not it's your job. And, I mean, I could be wrong, but just, I've never, really felt like my value was whether or not I was accomplishing my job. If you have a better reason, a deeper reason for feeling one way or another about this, then, I've always felt like trusting my gut at least gets me where I'm supposed to be going. Whether or not I, regret it after, up in the air. But I figure that, it's trying to do something because you feel like it might be your job to do it it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I feel like that's a bad reason to do something, personally. And I mean, I don't come from the background you do, so maybe it means something different to you to do your job. But for me, at least, I think about why you want to do this, and if there's a reason beyond you feel like it's the job you've got. And if that's the case, and you feel like there's some good you can do towards something you care about, then follow your gut on it.
right, I think that's insightful, and I think the reason I am a monk with the cerulean eye is not just because it's my job, but because I genuinely care also about protecting culture. It's the cerulean eye exposed me to plays when I was young, and I fell so in love with that idea that I knew that it was important to me to make sure as many people as possible could see as much of the world and have new experiences by reading books and seeing plays as possible. And I think you're right, Artuk, that first of all, I don't think it's my job to try to rescue this abandoned or taken over monastery by myself. And even then, if my values are to protect culture, then yes, I guess maybe someone could construe, okay, well, you have to try to rescue a book, but really the thing I loved about it was sharing and was protecting what we could share already, not putting our lives in danger to rescue something that is kind of out of our hands. Yeah.
Well, I like that. That says a lot better with me then. I am more than here to help you if you feel like trying to do something, trying to save something, or if you don't, I'm here to support you, whichever decision you make.
I appreciate that. I think
Yeah.
kind of I got to like, it feels weird to say we're next to this library, and I'm not gonna have that be our focus right now, but I appreciate having this conversation because I think that's where I got to.
Glad you could get there. Glad we could help in some way or another.
Unless like some mysterious force like drops some opportunity in front of us, but
Yeah.
you know what? I don't think that's gonna happen.
If Grumsh drops an interesting text in front of us, we'll just scoop it up.
Right, and I already kind of did that with Murray, and she pulls out like the play manuscript.
Yeah, that one was definitely a Grumsh given gift.
Right? Yeah, I like
Yeah.
it. Well, anyway, I feel so much better after that. Is there anything you two want to talk about? It's like I just feel like there's a weight off my chest.
Oh man.
Morak, it looks like you're pulling out some papers.
Oh yeah. I need to write some letters. It's been a hot minute. My mother or fiance have no idea what's been going on for the past few months, and they should probably know.
Wait,
hang on.
your mother's name is or fiance?
No, I have a mother and
She is my
No.
fiance.
my betrothed. I haven't talked to her in a while.
Hang on. I feel like
Did
that's
you know
something that we didn't know. What the?
Well, I mean, yeah, I didn't really hide it. It's just no one really asked me about my family life.
Well,
Sure.
sorry if you don't ask, hi, what's your name? Are you engaged?
That's
Yeah.
true. You have a point. And to be fair, I feel like I've been wanting to bring it up for about I don't know, like 22 arcs now. But we have been kind of busy with random things, and it keeps slipping my mind. And like when we're in a catacombs and there's a giant tentacle monster attacking us, I'm typically not like, yeah, but my girlfriend. So
Sure.
anyways, her name's Naz. She's delightful. We've met once. We're slated to get married next summer, whenever that is in this crazy world. Who knows what month it is? Yeah. I'm working on making her a grump symbol out of this bow, because that's kind of an orc thing. Artuk, do you have any suggestions on what to buy women? You just seem like you're a worldly man.
I'm gonna be
You've been
100.
around the block a lot. I don't know, like for you, when you have a fiance and you go adventuring for a few months.
Back in the herd, the only mating that was done was arranged, and I was not slated to ever do that. So the whole concept has been a wild thing for me to get used to as I've been from city to city. There's lots and lots of folks that seem to do it for way more reasons than I ever thought possible.
Well, yeah, it used to be way more common in orc culture to arrange them, but it hasn't really happened in a while. But with the Tuskbane clan, like kind of expanding, the matchmaker kind of picks a lot of the eligible younger orcs and figures out who are compatible. And I was compatible with Naz enough that both of our families thought that it would be a good idea for us to combine clans, if you will, through our marriage.
Well,
So
that sounds like as good a reason as any I've heard so far. That's pretty damn cool.
yeah,
Well, congratulations, Morak.
thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, definitely sounds like it. It's real weird for me with I've got very 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 limited experience, which is a bit of why I was so weirdly nervous throughout the day with the whole the lies we were telling about me and Ode and whatnot. It's
Artuk, if you ever need someone to explain the birds and the bees to you, I got that lesson actually a
I
little
know.
early.
I know
but-
how people are propagated. Thank
For
you.
more, for
There's
him, it's
one
more
thing
of the
this man
spores than
knows
the,
is birds
the
and
pollen and the
bees.
daisies.
He might not know what sex.
It's real bad if that happens in my herd for the most part. It's if that happens without it being a decision of the herd, that's really really frowned upon, because basically with the herd, we have to worry about how much energy it takes for our herd to survive, whether the land's going to sustain us or not, and whether we're taking from it too much or given enough to it or things like that. So we have a specified size that the herd is allowed to be, and it can't be any more than that. If it is, there's pretty harsh penalties in place. That's actually the only person in the herd who was even near my age, because I was the youngest in the herd up until or I was supposed to be anyway. But two herd members got a little did some taboo stuff, and they had an extra, which has been a kind of shameful point of the herd for a while now. But I was, this is blasphemous for me to say, but I'm real glad they did, because it gave me the only person who was sort of my age to spend time with and talk to and whatnot. Is my buddy Insect. We call him Insect, or actually that's his name, because that's part of the punishment, is that they're not allowed to name him anything that's well, basically the herd gives him a name that's a laughing stock, so that the parents have to remember for all time that they did something wrong.
Oh, that's kind of horrible, actually. You told me about Insect, but Insect's like a pretty fine tabaxi name, so I didn't actually think too much of it.
Oh, I mean, I'm glad that somewhere his name isn't it's it was meant to laugh at the fact that he's supposed to be, he was. It's real mean spirited of them, but they have to be harsh about that because if extra people are born, then we the balance is broken with the herd, and we take more than we give, and that's very very much against the values they're trying to hold up. I found.
Are you the only one of your herd who's ever left? Like, if Insect ever left, would he find that his name was quite acceptable?
I don't think that anybody ever thought that was a possibility. I think it was just sort of kicked into us from when we were real young. That I mean, I hardly knew the world existed beyond the edge of the woods we were supposed to protect and whatnot. I've come to realize through a lot of this whole traveling that I've done that the world's a much bigger and more accepting place than the herd was, and that perhaps some of the things that the herd did for the sake of balance, or what they called balance, weren't 100% right. And it feels real weird for me to say that because I grew up, really really feeling like there was only one thing that was 100% true because I didn't know anything better or different, and it's been an eye-opening experience for me seeing so much else.
Well, Archie, I think it's so very open-minded of you to see that maybe the world you grew up in has perspectives that are different than other parts of the world. I had to learn that pretty slowly over years, and still kind of I don't get it sometimes. But I think the real question is, do you feel like you should still follow your herd's rules on propagating, as you called it, or do you feel open-minded about that too? Oh, not like I'm propositioning you. I'm just
right.
curious.
No, I didn't think you were. I feel I understand a lot more about why people. For me, it was something that was purely business, as you might say, up until I left and learned that there's more to it than that. But I still don't really, I guess part of it's just never having felt that for anybody in particular like that. I might just not understand it, but as far as I can see, I'm perfectly happy with the decision the herd made for me, even though I don't think the herd making it for me was, as reasonable as I thought it was. I'll stick to the same decision, but not for that reason anymore, for the time being, at least.
and Morak, what was that?
I was gonna say that's just all a long way to say I'm not interested. But Morak, yeah.
No, I was gonna say Morak. I actually, they didn't teach us much about orc culture in terms of waiting for marriage.
Oh, what? Oh, yeah, no, I'm a Tuscrane. Women were fawning over me.
Is he being honest?
Oh, my childhood. You can insight check that if you want.
No, I just want to know whether does Morak believe it?
What? Morak?
Yeah.
Oh no, he's a big old dweeb. He's the biggest dweeb out of all the Duskbanes. Like, what the hell are you guys talking about? Oh, yes, but Naz and I are waiting. Also, we've only met once, so it's kind of hard to... and it was a chaperoned date, so...
Right, yeah. Well, based on that, if any of us want to go to a brothel, we can. But we could just walk around the city, see what it has to offer.
Yeah, I figure that's a good idea.
I mean, there's no day but today, so let's go.